On today's menu, a recipe so flavor-packed you'll be running to your mommy. A superbly umami mushroom and broccolini rice. Lei hou ma, that's how's it going in Cantonese. Welcome to Young Man Cooking, I'm Will Yeung. Mushrooms are one of my favorite ingredients. It's so delicious, they're so versatile as you'll see in this episode. But of course, before we get started, a big thank you to today's episode sponsor, Vitamix, which I'll mention more in a little bit. As always, let's get started with the recipe first. Place 1 cup of short grain rice into a saute pan. Rinse 2 to 3 times to get rid of the excess starch. You can definitely use jasmine rice or even dainty basmati rice, it's completely up to you. 2 teaspoons chili oil. 2 teaspoons homemade umami powder. We'll revisit this later in the episode. The smoky spicy chili oil is really easy to make at home, so I'll definitely leave that link in the description box below for you to check this out. That umami seasoning is something that we'll make in this episode. Give the rice a stir to mix in all those delicious flavors. 1 cup water. Medium-high heat. When the water begins to bubble, give the rice a good stir and turn the heat down to medium-low. Cover and cook for 15 minutes. In the meantime, pat dry a 350-gram block of extra firm tofu. Crumble the tofu into a small bowl. This creates a really unique texture and adds lots of body to the rice. You can also use a fork or a potato masher, but your hands seem to be more fun. Non-stick pan. Medium heat. 1 tablespoon chili oil. Carefully place in the crumbled tofu. Saute for 4 to 6 minutes to get a little bit of a nice crispy crust. Add 3 teaspoons of that homemade umami powder. Mix it in with the tofu. 2 teaspoons dark soy sauce. This will give the crumbled tofu a beautiful caramel color. Set the crumbled tofu aside. This recipe is great for 3 to 4 portions and is fantastic as a leftover. 1 onion diced. You can substitute this for a red onion or 2 shallots if you like. About 60 grams of broccolini roughly chopped. 2 king oyster mushrooms diced. You can of course sub this out for shiitake mushrooms or whatever other mushrooms you have on hand. It's completely up to you. Heat the pan on medium-high heat, add 2 teaspoons of avocado oil. After 15 minutes, turn the heat off on the rice and let it steam further for another 10 minutes. Saute the onions for a couple of minutes. Really take the time to sweat out the onions. Broccolini. Saute for a few minutes. King oyster mushrooms. Saute for 3 to 4 minutes. Add back in the crumbled tofu. Saute for another couple of minutes. So about that umami seasoning, I made it with one of the tools that I love to use most in the kitchen, which is why it's so awesome that today's episode sponsor is the one and only Vitamix. This is the brand new top-of-the-line Vitamix, the new Ascent X5. It has the power that we've come to know and love about Vitamix, but now with some incredible new features like the tamper indicator, which will prompt you to use the tamper if needed to prevent overheating the motor. This brand new Ascent Model X5 has 10 recipe programs, which really simplifies kitchen workflow. One of the programs is what I use to make that extraordinary umami seasoning. Check this out. 1/4 cup salt. 2 tablespoons onion powder. 1 tablespoon garlic powder. 1 tablespoon gochugaru or Korean pepper powder. 2 tablespoons peppercorn. I'm using a peppercorn mix that has pink, white, and black peppercorn. There is a bit of spiciness to the seasoning. For a non-spicy version, simply omit the peppercorns. About 20 grams of dried shiitake mushrooms. About 3 grams of kombu. Kombu is an umami-packed dried seaweed. All we need to do now is to choose the spice program on the Vitamix and press start. This umami seasoning will be great on basically anything you want to add some savory goodness to, whether it's your next stir fry or for stovetop popcorn. Stored airtight, the seasoning should be good for many months. With the touch of a button, you have this amazing flavored powder ready to go. All of the new Ascent model blenders come with a 48 ounce or 1.4 liter container and a full warranty from Vitamix for a whopping 10 years. One of the reasons why I love Vitamix is because I've been using Vitamix for more than a decade before partnering with them. That's why this partnership was just very natural. If you were already thinking about buying a Vitamix blender or one of their products, consider using the affiliate link in the description box below. This way it lets Vitamix know that this partnership has been valuable. 2 sticks of green onion, finely chopped. When the rice is done, fluff the rice with a fork or rice paddle. Add in the green onions. The heat from the rice and those veggies will help wilt down the green onions without compromising that kind of really nice, crisp freshness. Add in the sauteed veggies. Cooking the 1 cup of rice in a large sauté pan allows for the room for everything to mix together. As mentioned, this recipe is good for about 3 to 4 portions, but of course you can multiply it to make more if you like, and of course in a larger pan. Plate the rice generously. You can now make this umami-packed recipe with absolute confidence. That smells extraordinary. Wow, that is delicious. The aroma from that umami powder is so alluring. It really is extraordinary. This dish visually looks just rustic, inviting, casual, and of course has these nice earthy tones. It makes such a huge difference cooking the rice and the veggies separately and then joining them both together. This way there's actually a lot less moisture in the rice, so it gives it a little bit of a firmer texture. And man, that umami powder in the rice is next level. There's this explosion of this salty, earthy pepperiness. There's definitely a little bit of that spicy kick as well. Overall, the rice and the crumbled tofu brings this bold, earthy flavor, but has this nice contrast from the fresh, crisp green onions. The king oyster mushrooms add a little bit more body and of course more of that earthy flavor. Such a beautiful dish that's extraordinary in flavor and extraordinarily easy to put together. It's simple, casual, delicious recipes like this that makes it so exciting to cook at home. If you love easy, delicious recipes like me, definitely check out or pick up your copy of one of the 4 Young Man Cooking cookbooks. There's a print or digital version of these books, all available in the link in the description box below, or you can visit youngmancooking.com. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below. If you're not already subscribed with that notification bell clicked, remember to do so that we can cook together again in the next episode.